Is the fact that we thought I had gone into labour. I would rather deal with the pain and recovery of a C-section. I'm like waddling like a penguin. Hi guys, welcome to my 31-week pregnancy update. My name is Holly. If you are new to this channel, I do motherhood and pregnancy related videos. This is my 4th pregnancy, so I am sharing a lot of expertise and experience from 4 different pregnancies and tracking and sharing with you guys this pregnancy, so hopefully that will help, especially for the first time mamas out there. So if you do find this video helpful, make sure to click the like button down below, and if you aren't a subscriber already, make sure to click that button as well and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. And I think it's about time we got started. So first things first, and I'm going to talk a little bit about baby's development at 31 weeks pregnant. So the biggest thing developmentally that is going on this week, which is kind of a continuation from last week, is still very much brain development. That seems to be the main thing that now, apart from the obvious weight gain, that's the main thing that seems to be what baby is focusing on in terms of development. So they can actually process information now through all 5 senses, and their brain is rapidly making connections, so lots of big stuff going on, preparing them for the outside world. And yeah, it's just crazy to think that they can now process information and actually take in information, so really rapidly developing, and that is one of the biggest things that is happening this week. So the only other thing development wise that they are doing this week as well is they are sleeping for longer stretches of time, and specifically REM sleep, which if I'm correct, I think that is dream sleep. So they are having more defined patterns of awake and asleep. So for me, this baby is very much active as soon as I wake up on a morning. It maybe has like a midday kind of nap, and then like it's going crazy now, so obviously whatever I've done has woke it up. But then it definitely is crazy on an evening time. It's definitely another night owl, but very much defined patterns, which is obviously good because then we're able to track their patterns, which is really important to monitor movements, which I'm always making sure that we are keeping an eye on that. So yeah, they are having longer stretches of sleep, and it is REM sleep. But that is pretty much everything for baby's development this last week, so we will move on to talking about my physical symptoms. So physically, the thing that I probably should address first is the fact that we thought I had gone into labour. I had regular tightenings. I have not really been experienced many, if any, Braxton Hicks, and I have experienced a natural labour in the past, so I know what labour feels like, and it felt very similar to real labour. I was having tightenings that were beginning on the top of my belly, and they were lasting for maybe up to a minute and a half or so. Some were maybe shorter, about like 30 to 40 seconds, but some were about a minute to a minute and a half, and they were starting to get into a regular pattern. They were about every 6 minutes, and I actually downloaded an app on my phone to time them, and it actually told me, you know, you probably should go to hospital. I literally tried doing all the things that they say. So I tried sitting down, I tried changing position, I tried to eat, I tried doing all these different things, because they say that with Braxton Hicks that if you are like active, then to sit down and rest, or the opposite if it's happening when you're sat down, to get up and move about. And they were just being consistent, and they didn't seem to be easing up. So we ended up going to hospital because we thought that it was actual labour and there was the risk of it being real labour. We did go to our hospital of choice where we're going to be delivering, which is 2 hours away, instead of getting a check at the local hospital. They were kind of reluctant to see me, surprise surprise, but in some ways we agreed with them, and we knew that their neonatal, well, they don't really have a neonatal intensive care unit, they have a special care baby unit, but they can't take babies under 34 weeks. So we knew that if I was in real labour, it was better to go and travel the 2 hours as soon as we could and get to our hospital of choice, where they are much better equipped. They obviously looked after our daughter that was born at 32 weeks, and they have an amazing neonatal team, and I trust all the consultants there. it turns out, of course, by the time we got there, the Braxton Hicks had actually eased off, and yeah, they were Braxton Hicks basically. I did have a check, a speculum, and they checked my cervix and it was completely closed, and yeah, so I don't know what happened. I don't know if I was dehydrated or if it was because I hadn't eaten that day, but for whatever reason we had a panic of thinking we were in labour, but thankfully we were not in labour and baby is fine. Baby is still in there and hopefully will stay in there for a good few weeks. So that was our most eventful thing that happened this week, and now I'm definitely trying to take it easier, which when I tell you about all my other physical symptoms, it's kind of hard not to take it easier anyway because I'm really starting to struggle. So I will move on and tell you a bit more about what other physical symptoms I'm having. The biggest thing that even now I'm really struggling just to be sat upright like this is my rib pain, which I've told you about before, but it just seems to be getting worse and worse as baby's getting bigger and pressing on nerves and stuff, and it's just this burning pain, and I am actually having to take regular painkillers now, which, as you guys probably know, I'm really generally reluctant, or I'll take them every now and again, but I am having to take them consistently just to get through the day, because I think otherwise I would honestly be crying in pain. And even, to be honest, these painkillers, paracetamol, are not working. And I even said the other day that in some ways I would rather deal with the pain and recovery of a C-section than this pain, because at least after a C-section you can take so many more painkillers, and at the minute I'm so limited that it's really, nothing is touching this rib pain. The only thing I'm doing is putting some deep freeze like roll-on stuff, and that seems to really help, and I do alternate that with putting hot water bottles on my spine. And as well, I'm having like really bad groin pain. Like, it feels like my pubic bone, like someone has kicked it, and it feels like it's going to fall to pieces at any second. So I'm like waddling like a penguin, and I always sleep with 2 hot water bottles on a night, but at the minute, even when I'm sat up and just hanging about downstairs, I have a hot water bottle on my spine for the rib pain, and then I have one on my like pelvis, on my hips, that then kind of helps, but I'm having to like really stretch out all the time to stretch the ribs, and just I'm basically in a lot of pain. And because of this kind of worry about when baby is going to come, I've now realised we probably should start making the house, like getting it ready. And physically now I'm at the point it's really difficult. I'm really struggling to clean or do anything, and physical activity is just becoming extremely difficult for me. So yeah, I'm just in a lot of pain basically, and I'm really excited and want this baby out now, because I just want baby cuddles, and I want to be able to bond with baby, and I just don't want this pain anymore because it really hurts. So I have also had some digestive upset as well in this last week, and I'm not really sure if that's just something I've eaten that's caused me to have bad guts and stuff, or what's going on there. I know it does say online that that can be a normal part of pregnancy, but they also say that can be a sign of labour. So trust me, we have started to pack the hospital bag. When we actually went to hospital, we weren't at home, and we had to rush home to get my pregnancy notes, and we literally just threw stuff in a bag of like a few bits of overnight stuff and stuff for baby that we have from our other children. So we are starting to pack our hospital bag and get that ready, which I will be doing a video on. I will link it, and like I said, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss that one, because I will be doing a separate video on what I packed for myself and probably for Fabian as well, and then one that I have packed for baby. So don't forget to click that button and then you won't miss them. But yeah, I really don't know what this symptom means, whether it is just an upset stomach or if it is something to do with baby getting ready to come out. But hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to stay in there at least a few more weeks. So we will see how it goes. But I do have an appointment next week with the consultant and a scan, so we will see where we are, and I will give you a more detailed up-to-date update next week of when we think baby is going to be coming and mode of delivery and all that sort of good stuff. But yeah, I will mention it all in next week's video. So that's pretty much everything physical symptom wise, which I know has been obviously a really crazy week. But now we will talk about my mental health and emotional health during this last week. So I have actually had an appointment this week. It was meant to be a meeting with quite a few different people. There was meant to be the mental health midwife, my perinatal mental health worker and my normal midwife. It turned out in the end 2 of them couldn't come, so we just had my perinatal mental health nurse and my midwife. So the midwife kind of could give a perspective from a midwifery and physical point of view, and then we had my perinatal mental health nurse, which perinatal just means like pregnancy and up to a year after birth. And so basically we started working on a mental health birth plan. So it's more dealing with looking after me during labour or birth, or whether we have a C-section or whatever option we go down. It's making sure that the staff know how to look after me and my mental health. So it's kind of a plan that then puts into place and lets them know what my triggers are. It lets them know what could trigger me, how to speak to me, things like that. So it's very much not really to deal with the baby side of things, which we will likely discuss next week at my appointment with the consultant. And I do have some ideas already of things that I want to put in the birth plan that are more physical, but this was specifically to make a mental health birth plan, which I feel reassured knowing that then they are going to understand how to look after me, and that Fabian is actually my carer, and that he is he speaks on my behalf. And that's really important, because then it's very much important and integral that he doesn't leave me at any point, because I can't communicate with them, I can't ask for help, and that could be detrimental to physical health as well. So it's making sure that all these things are put into a plan so that all the staff are aware of how to look after me. So that's what we have been working on this last week, and we will be tweaking it over the next couple of weeks and making sure that all hospitals have copies and that I have a copy. But I am thinking of whether I should do a separate video on my birth plans, of my physical and mental birth plan, and kind of the whole picture. And that would obviously cover whether we're going to do a VBAC or a C-section. So let me know down below if you are interested in seeing that video, because I really think there's a lot of things in it that I've kind of learnt over the last 4 pregnancies that I now feel like I've had a little bit of experience. I've had a natural birth, I've had an emergency C-section, I've had a normal C-section. God knows what's going to happen this time, but I feel really experienced at knowing what are important things to remember to put into the birth plan. So I did also mention with the perinatal mental health nurse that I was really struggling with bonding, and I couldn't understand why. She's really helped explain to me a bit more about it and how it's actually quite common and normal, and considering the trauma that we've been through and stuff with baby loss and other things, and just the climate of the world that we're living in right now. It's very difficult and there's so many unknowns, that she was actually really good at reassuring me. I'm actually really happy with working with her. Even though this is only the 2nd time I've met her, she seems to really be encouraging. She was really positive about the fact that I've done breastfeeding for so long with all my other kids, and she just seemed really open. I did discuss placenta encapsulation with her, which is another thing that I would maybe talk about in a different video, but she seemed open and never made me kind of feel stupid. So I feel like this is going to be a good relationship in place to prevent postnatal depression. And I did express my concerns about postnatal depression and the bonding. So I'm actually going to be seeing a perinatal psychologist soon, and I think they're going to do some work with me and make sure I've kind of worked out the kinks before this baby is born. So like I say, fingers crossed this baby stays in there long enough for me to at least do all these appointments and stuff. But yeah, it gives me a lot of confidence that we're going to actually work on things before baby's born and really try and put measures in place to prevent any postnatal issues with my mental health. So I'm feeling pretty good and pretty confident in the team that I do actually have around me, and I don't feel like it's going to be overwhelming. She very much said she's there if I need her, and I just need to tell her if I need her to come twice a week, once every 2 weeks. However I need her, she will be there for me. So that really gives me the reassurance that I'm in control and that I'm not going to get overwhelmed with appointments, because obviously when you have a baby you have the midwife come in a lot as well, and just when you're sleep deprived, and sometimes too many appointments can actually be counterproductive. So it's nice to feel that I'm in control and can reach out and ask for that support, and it seems like I've got a really good support network, which is so important. I can't recommend enough that if you are struggling emotionally or mentally, to ask for help and see what perinatal support is available. But that is pretty much everything for my little mental health update for this last week. So I think we will move on now to the most fun and exciting part, which is having a look at my belly. Okay guys, so let me just take this off so you can see. Whew. I'll pull that in so you can actually see how much it's sticking out. Wow, I can definitely tell I've got a big baby in there, but that is from the right hand side. Oh, and it really hurts to move. That is from the front. It's like just in my groin right now, like it just hurts to stand up. Oh, okay, and this is from my left hand side, and then this is my belly again from the left hand side. Oh, it's getting huge. Oh my god, the pain. I haven't taken painkillers today and I can tell, so that is what I will be doing after this video. So there you go, that is from the right hand side. That's just so weird to even think that that is my body. It doesn't feel real. I don't know if it's ever going to feel real, but yeah, that is my stomach with a baby inside, which is just, I don't know. I'll wrap my head around it by the time that I'm like walking towards like surgery or like in labour probably. But yeah, that is my 31-week pregnant belly. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like it, and if you haven't subscribed already, like I say, make sure to click that button and turn on the notification bell. I have literally got maybe 6-7 weeks left, and so I have so many pregnancy videos that I'm going to be cramming in. I'm probably going to be uploading several times a week actually, so make sure you do turn on that notification bell, because there will be my regular pregnancy updates, which are always on a Tuesday, and I'm definitely going to be doing some fun other pregnancy related videos that I'm really excited about, that I'm going to be filming hopefully, fingers crossed, tomorrow. So yeah, make sure you don't miss them, and comment down below anything that you want to ask me or tell me. So I love getting to know you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.